Welcome back to the Two Blues podcast, a slightly delayed live match preview. Apologies on my behalf for that, but we are here. Me and Mr. C Money Picks are here to take you through everything Chelsea Astana. A very quick 15-minute run through what our predictions are, how we feel today is going to be. It is a young team that has travelled to Kazakhstan, Chelsea's longest trip in Europe so far, beating out Baku in Azerbaijan in 2019. This is the furthest we've ever had to travel, the first time we have ever faced Astana or been to Kazakhstan in a European competition. Mr. C Money, I don't know about surprised being the word. I mean, we knew that, Chelsea virtually through to the next stage of the Conference League as is. But a great opportunity tonight with Enzo Maresca having named 10 youngsters in that travelling squad and quite a few of them starting.
Yeah, I saw the team sheet this morning. I like the fact that we're making a couple of sacrifices. I like the fact that we're playing a couple of the younger guys in a game that, they could probably go out there and show out, a game that's probably fair in terms of competition and level. Players like Raksai and Saki, who we've been looking at, who's been in and around the sort of team in the last couple of weeks. When's he going to be getting a game? Nice to see him starting. I thought we would have put him on the bench and maybe taken him off second half, but it's nice to see the confidence in him starting. Same with Achimpong. Same with, I know you're going to love this, but Tyreek George. Mark Yu, probably the most questionable of the bunch, in my opinion. But it's good to see that the team's nice and young, nice and fresh. And yeah, man, it's good to see the younger players getting their opportunity when they might not get so in, other games throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, agreed. And yeah, you mentioned one there. I mean, Chukwuemeka, I'm really, really happy he's in the team. I think if Casadei hadn't have been sent off at Heidenheim, it probably would have been him in centre midfield. But that does obviously give Chukwuemeka an opportunity. And that's a player that we both highlighted in this week's roundup as someone that hasn't really got the opportunities that we may have hoped he would have this season. But great opportunity for him tonight. And great to see there's still a place in this squad for him. But yeah, you mentioned there Josh Achimpong. Now, this is Josh Achimpong's first inclusion in a squad, not just his first start, his first inclusion in a squad, be it the men's, be it the academy. He has not been included in a match day squad for about 2 months now, given, contract issues. There were problems with him, apparently not seeing the career progression, not wanting to sign the contract that Chelsea put down. Enzo Maresca has come out in the last couple of days and said that there has been very positive updates moving forward. He is a player I rate very, very highly and really happy to see him back in this team. How do you feel? Obviously, the main issue he cited for not wanting to sign the contract was career progression, was a clear path. Realistically, in that right back spot, if that is where he is going to ply his trade, I mean, obviously we've got Gilchrist on loan at the moment who can kind of play off either side. But in this Chelsea squad, you've got two out-and-out right backs, Reece James and Malo Gusto. Reece James, I don't think Achimpong should be looking at that. All due respect to Reece, if you're watching, I don't think Achimpong should be looking at that as an obstacle, because given his track record, Reece James is never going to be in Achimpong's way of a starting position. Given that he has only got Malo Gusto realistically ahead of him, this is a player that I'm very happy he's signed, very happy to see more of him, very excited to see how he performs in this Chelsea squad. Now he's got his head screwed on, and they've obviously said, look, there is a path for you. This is your time to shine.
Well, I think now he can see it. I think a few months ago when Reece James was on the block again and, he's coming back. And when he comes back from the beginning of next season, he can really take on and we can slowly try and... But that hasn't happened, you know what I mean? And this season, it's been more the same from Reece James. So I'm sure with how time has gone on, he's probably seeing that slot in at right back and he's thinking, all right, maybe this is not as nailed on as I thought it was. And there is career progression. All I got to do is play well in the games that I'm able to play, and hopefully I'll get a couple soon. And I'm sure that's when Maresca sat down and said, listen, look at the teams that we're going to be playing, yeah? Do you reckon we're going to be able to have Malo Gusto playing all of them consistently? Probably not, right? You're going to have fixtures that you can play coming up in the next few weeks. You need to trust the system. There have been other players in your situation who have found themselves in a starting 11, going forward at this club. I don't see why you can't push for a job. So he's probably thinking, fair enough, I got the position to do it. Reece James isn't going to give me any problems. And Malo Gusto, he's in and out with a fan base on a regular basis. I can probably go and do something here. And, I would have signed that contract. And I'm sure the money Chelsea are offering is, money that Chelsea are offering as opposed to a lot of other teams. So all in, I can imagine that this is something that is probably, he was stalling it out for the benefit of his career, but looking at it now, I think he can see his way into the side. And I want a player that wants to play for Chelsea. I want that to be known. I want players to want to be playing first team football, but boil it down and think, I can do it here. I just need to prove myself. So today's going to be a big game for him today. I reckon we do keep a clean sheet, and if we do, I think that's going to be a really, really good look for that back line, particularly, if they do try and give us some trouble down the flank, especially the left flank. I would hope that Achimpong has a good game today, and if he does, he's probably going to end up on a bench, in another game at some point for the rest of 24.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, we got Brentford at the weekend. I don't know if he'll look to play Caicedo at right back again, but if he does go back to, basics with Malo Gusto at right back, it will be, you would have thought, Achimpong as the backup there. So, yeah, good timing, I think, for him, given this Reece James injury. And, yeah, he's got enough time in the season to be able to turn it around, to be able to stake his claim on this Chelsea team. And then next season, undoubtedly, we'll be looking for a loan move for him, akin to Alfie Gilchrist to Sheffield this season, which has been massively successful. But we'll just run through the team very quickly for those who haven't seen it. So in goal, Philip Jorgensen, off the back of that fantastic performance against Heidenheim last time out. Achimpong at right back, Tosin and Axel Disasi in centre-back, with Renato Vega at left-back. A midfield three of Dewsbury Hall, Chukwuemeka and Raksaki, which is fantastic for him. Tyreek George starting on the left side, Mark Yu in the number 9, and Pedro Neto on the right, who is banned for the weekend's game, which means Madueke will likely start. I'm going to go with, it will most likely be Sancho on the left, Madueke on the right of the weekend. Obviously, Pedro Neto will be disappointed, but at the same time, I think tonight's a good chance for him to go out and have a little bit of fun. I think his end product was fantastic. Some of the balls into the box, his deliveries were fantastic against Tottenham, but he didn't get the assist or the goal to show for it. And tonight, it will be a good opportunity for him to stat pad. But just in terms of the predictions for tonight, obviously a much changed Chelsea side. And, while I don't want to put too much stock in Kazakhstan's league, Astana, joint top of the league this season, finished just 1 point off the top last season. They are on a 13-game unbeaten home run in all competitions. So this is by no means a small feat. I mean, I don't think it's going to be as good quality. I don't think they're going to be as good quality as Heidenheim, but this is definitely not a write-off. This is going to be a tough game. How do you see today panning out?
I think we're going to absolutely flush them, to be honest, brother. I think that the football that we've shown in recent weeks and the way that we've developed as a squad, we've shown that we can take out 11 players, replace them with 11 players who play very similar football, play very aggressive, direct football. And I think that we can do it again with a different, 11, or at least with 10 out of the 11 switched. I think, obviously, Neto, Tosin, you can find places around the team where we've got somewhat reliability. Even to some degree, Mark Yu in this competition. I mean, we've seen him 4 times now, you know what I mean? So we kind of know what we're going to get. I think we need Mark Yu to score today. Personally, I think that would be really good for him. I feel like if he's been the one, I can imagine in his head, it feels like this competition is kind of revolving around his success and nothing's really come from him yet. So today, to be still in this squad with a whole new team around him, I think it's going to be a big game for him. But once again, I'm expecting a clean sheet. I'm expecting, whether it's goals in droves, I don't really mind, but I'm expecting some high quality football. And I want Pedro Neto to let everyone else around him kind of do the talking and just get involved, when the ball's given to him. I don't want it to be the Neto show, because it could be that. We could leave here today with Neto scoring 4 or 5. We know he's got the quality to do that against a side like this. I want him to get everyone else involved, and I want him to show the leadership at 24 years old that I know that he's got. You know what I mean? He's far and away the most experienced player on that pitch. So I want him to show that, and I want him to not make it about himself, which it could very much be once again. But yeah, just bringing it all, distribute it from that right-hand flank, and hopefully he gets 3 or 4 different assists to 3 or 4 different people. That would make me very impressed.
Yeah, 100%. I think we've picked out players at each game and said, today it's a big game for the entire B team, but it's a particularly big game, for Mudryk, for Nkunku. These are the players that need to take their chances and score. Today, that is Pedro Neto. He is, the guy in this team. But I mean, today for me, I really want to see a step up from Tyreek George. And you mentioned it kind of very early on. You know, I really like Tyreek George. I think he's a great player. I think when he's played in the first team this season, he has shown why he is an academy player, not a men's team player. I think he has still got to develop a little bit in terms of his physicality, in terms of being able to catch up and keep up with the men's game. Look, it is a different game. And I do think players like Tyreek George would benefit from going out to play some Sunday League, get roughed up a little bit, just to get them ready for the physicality of the Premier League. But today, it's going to be minus 10 degrees in Kazakhstan. Shout out as well to every single Chelsea fan. There can't be many of you, but shout out to every single Chelsea fan that's made the trip to Kazakhstan. I looked into it because tickets were available, but it was a £600 minimum return flight trip to Kazakhstan, 14 hours each way, minus 8 degrees there. Every Chelsea fan, we think we're good Chelsea fans. Anyone that's watching this in Kazakhstan, shout out you, man. You are what keeps this club going. You are the bread and butter of football, of modern day football. So everybody making the trip, big up to you. And obviously anybody watching, get your predictions in. We are obviously 5 minutes away from the game, but it doesn't mean you can't just, retroactively correctly predict the score. But yeah, go on then, Charms. You've said a drubbing is what you expect. Can you give us a score prediction?
Yeah, I want to see 5-6 today. I wanted to see 5-0.
Clean sheet?
Yeah, and that most importantly, I would be more annoyed at 5-1 than I would 2-0. Honestly, I think that we need to keep a clean sheet today and show that we can hold it down at the back. Yeah, I want to see 5-0, 4-0, 5-0.
Yeah, because we've seen this Chelsea side, even in the Conference League, shut up shop. We've seen them, go 3-0 up and just be professional, dominate the game. You don't need to, it's fantastic to go out and score loads. It's not necessary. We are very aware that they will need to score 3 to outdo us. It's not going to happen. So I agree. I'm a big stickler for clean sheets, and we are starting to rack them up here and there. Jorgensen has picked up a fair few in the Conference League, so it would be really good for him to have another solid performance today. But yeah, just quickly, I know it's not on topic and this is a focus on Astana, but while I've got you, obviously Neto playing today means, as I said, Sancho, Madueke likely to start on the wings. Very few first team players have travelled. We are going to have an even more rested squad for the game against Brentford, which we both singled out on our Tuesday recap, which if you haven't already, go and watch the Two Blues Tuesday, the latest recap. It's a very, very good episode talking about Chelsea's title surge and where we go from here. But yeah, man, the Brentford game is looking tastier to me than it was 2-3 days ago, because we're going to have fresh players, not even just usual fresh A-team. We're going to have a fresh A-team that, fingers crossed, is going to be able to, do the business to a team that as we've struggled against in years.
Yeah, and it makes me feel like Enzo Maresca watches the podcast, because it's like, every single time we single out these games, the game before we end up playing a C team, it's very, very strange. But as you said, yeah, man, Brentford being a game that we isolated is probably one of the hardest fixtures, probably the hardest fixture we have to end out the year. I expect us to go on a winning streak till then. So this is just no more than a tick. This is, the right thing to do, playing all the young kids now, getting the fresh legs in, and then come the weekend, put it all out in droves, bro. I really, really feel like that everything that we need to see ticked, we're seeing it ticked. And it's been a long time since we've seen that as Chelsea fans. So I'm just embracing it and just living in the moment day by day, man. I'm just taking it day by day.
Lovely stuff, man. Aren't we all? We are all just enjoying the ride that we are here along for. But yeah, man, the game is a couple of minutes away, so we will round up. Obviously, C-Money's got his prediction in 5-0. I'm going to go 4. I'm going to go 3-0. I'm going to be conservative. I think this has got the feel of a game where we conserve our energy, we get up early and just kind of shut up shop. But it would be great, fantastic, as we've said, for the youngsters to be involved. It would be great to kill the game early and get as many of these youngsters on as possible. Obviously, there were the 3 named on the in the first team, but on the bench, we've got Max Merrick, Murray Campbell, Harvey Vale, Caden Wilson, Richard Elise, the little brother of Michael Elise, who is a fantastic right back. He's a fantastic defender. Ato Ampar, Keanu Dyer, and Shumera Mueka as well. All of these fantastic talents for the under-21. So brilliant to see them. People can ridicule the Conference League all they want. We've got 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds playing European competitions. There aren't many teams in the world that can say that their 16, 17-year-olds have first-team European experience. So get your score predictions in early doors. Abdi, you can get to fuck sunshine. We're absolutely wiping the floor with these lot. Everybody, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, at Two Blues Podcast on the Instagram and the TikTok. Mr. C Money, enjoy your shift, fella. I hope you can be watching on your phone while you're working. Maybe we'll get a little excerpt from you on the live match reaction. But we're going to switch over now, live match watch along. I need to go and do a couple of bits, but kickoff is fast approaching. We're going to be doing a live match watch along on this channel. Appreciate everybody that's joined. Make sure to stick with us. Love.